Hello everyone and welcome back to another brand new video. Today we are revisiting an old GP game, as I like to do from time to time, and today I've decided to go back to one that I don't really remember how well this game kind of got received at the time, but I remember my memories for it. And most times when I play kind of retro games, for example Motogp 4, the original Motogp game, it's great memories, everybody goes, oh, the nostalgia, but I genuinely think this game was not really received that well. And from a quick little play to make sure that the emulator was working, let's just say it was not great to go back and play. But we're going to jump in today, we're going to do a few laps in time trial, and we're going to do a race and talk about the MotoGP series as a whole and what happened back in 2009 and 10. So one thing you will notice is that back in 2009, 2010 when this game came out, I was about 12, so pretty young, so I didn't know everything there was to know about games and like settings and stuff. But one thing I always remember, and he will be in the video throughout, is this guy.
Time trial.
You click something, he screams it at you.
MotoGP.
So back in the games, back in the day, you actually had to grind, so you weren't able to just get things straight away. So we're gonna go with Davi. Davizioso. We're gonna go automatic. One thing we probably take for granted today is how accurate the tracks are. We're gonna go to Qatar because of how inaccurate it is, and yeah, we'll see in a second that one thing we really don't take. We definitely take for granted is just how accurate every track is now in the real game, like down to the sponsor boards, white line placement and stuff. It's really accurate, the width, the length, lap times even, whereas go back a couple of years and this is sort of stuff we have. So I'm going to jump in now, do a few laps here and just show off what this game really was about.
Losail.
One thing I will note is that this game had actually a very, very good career mode. We'll probably touch a bit more on that in a minute, but it's just in the menus there where we're showing off some of the hints and tips. It was talking about how you can lay off staff if you're short money and stuff like that, and it was a real road to glory career, which I actually thought was a good career mode back in the day. But yeah, let's jump in now and see Qatar. To be honest, right, a lot of these like wide shots I can't even tell where they are on track because it's so badly modeled. But anyway, let's get laps. So back in the day, we have all the HUD turned off. Oh my god. So I'm going to apologise straight away for the writing. This game is arcade to the max. It's just so difficult to play going back to it because it takes all my brain power to even ride around on this track. Obviously these weird gates. And like one thing that actually I don't think ever was a milestone thing is that if you're not tucked in, okay, barely turn in, the bike goes full lean. If you see the way Dobby sat up there now, if you don't tuck in, you actually go like so much slower on the straight. So you have to press the button and you can see when you actually tuck in, there's like a V-nay on the screen and makes it look like you're going faster. This game, as much as I'm struggling to ride here, gave off great, at the time for me, and it was a great sense of speed and feeling of riding a MotoGP bike and the adrenaline of it. Now, obviously, oh my god, going back all these years later, first person, you don't even have hands. Who's Jolie? Question mark. Anyway, come back to the game all these years later. It is a bit of a pig to play. It's not really enjoyable. It's very washed out and grainy. I feel like F1 2010, 11, this, the 2010, 11 game. A lot of the games around this time, to kind of look realistic, they were really grainy. It wasn't just the motorbike games or the car games. I know, like for example, Call of Duty did the same thing. So it was something in the industry at the time where games went weirdly grainy and
the racing line guiding you around the track. The colour changes indicate whether or not you're going too fast.
So yeah, there you go. That guy would just start talking to you randomly. I will try to get a clip of it. If you go off track enough times, he screams at you saying this is not motocross, which I always thought was fucking hilarious back in the day. But we've seen one lap of this track and it's amazingly amazing, really. One thing I'll actually give, right, is I'll go back to the atmosphere. Look around the track. I can't really actually look with a normal camera, but in the distance, a lot of the features of the track look really realistic. Like lights. God, I broke so early. Like lights in the distance. You notice a lot in the last corner, where like look straight ahead. Them lights in the distance, they look quite real. And again, if you've seen the last corner, they actually have some version of like a city in the background modelled, which I imagine is supposed to be Doha, and like that's even better than what we have in the current Milestone games. As they have like these weird silhouettes in the distance. Oh, big stoppy there. But like again, if you just look to the off track, it actually looks like you're at a real venue. It's not just a track plugged into some game. again, looking at straight ahead, there just looks to be so much going on. And obviously the effects are, oh my Jesus, what happened there? There's some weird wormholes in this game. I believe it's emulator related, not actually the game. But maybe at some point we might fall through the map. Happened to me a few times in my testing. But just look ahead. The real lighting effects where that kind of strobe lighting where it looks really long and gated and stuff like that probably makes it look a bit cartoonish for its time. But I still think like the lighting is actually quite good in this game, even though the colouring, like I don't know what's going on here with the race night kind of glowing, or the white line to my left is glowing. There's some interesting effects going on screen. But I actually have good memories from this back in the day. I will at some point jump on 2010-11. I have one memory from that game is that I think the brakes were absolutely terrible on it. And the brakes on this, Jesus Christ, they just stop you. So look straight ahead there, look at the distance. It feels like there's a lot going on. That's quite a realistic little scene there in the background where it looks like there's real lights and stuff. Now that could be just a picture or something applied onto the game, but I actually think it looks really good, which is something I didn't notice in my testing. But I think now it is time for us to jump into a race. As you see here, look how slow we're going. And now we're going to tuck in, hit a wormhole, and look at the speed. I don't know what speed I have everything turned off or a full immersion. We're going to just brake when you see the corner. Yeah, that probably sums it up. If we ride for long enough in the gravel, I'm just going to... Well, he says that about the grass, right? But we're going to stay on the gravel. Hopefully he comes across and says, "This is not motocross, you know." In his beautiful Scottish accent.
Hey, this isn't motocross.
Hey, he said it. So unfortunately, we cannot actually do a race on the big bike, so we're going to have to go into 125. Let me just have a quick through the roster. Scott Redding, Danny Webb, so many Paul Espargaro, so many people who ended up in GP, Nakagami, Cambodia, John Will for the oh, this little kid. Nobody ever heard of him ever again. Masbu, Vasquez, so many people. Like, I went on to be GP race winners, GP riders, GP champions, superbike racers. Very interesting, but of course we'll go. The unknown Mark Marquez back in the day. Only 13 races, funnily enough, no wins yet. How fast he changes that. Suppose we'll go to Jerez. We'll be predictable. And no, we're going to stick a bit of weather on, because why the hell not? We all like a bit of pain here and there, so let's see what the game holds up like. Let's get in. In Marquez style, we've qualified 16, 14 seconds off. Quite realistic, if you ask me. I hear rain in the background. I don't see any rain. There's a couple of drops on the screen. But again, look at this stacked field. It's pretty crazy, but let's get into it. Oh, I remember this. This is my first time seeing this in 15 years. You got on the bike. This is probably something where Milestone got the idea of it. To be fair, the model there of the bike hunting was pretty... Oh, am I straight into it, are we? Yeah, we are. Okay, here we go. No time to look around.
2, 1, go!
Big wheelie. 125 two-strokes being known for being absolutely incredibly torquey machines. I can't stop wheeling. What the hell's going on here? Just, oh my god, look how floaty this is. He gives a tuck in to stop wheeling. Okay, this track is also incredibly badly modelled. Just killed someone, Ian on it, waving his hand at me. Some things never change. One thing I never liked with this game is a real arcade feel in terms of like the timer on the screen. You have to get to certain gates to get times, and you get time for slipstream and stuff, and that slows down your time. I always, like, coming from Motogp 4 would have been my last Motogp game before this one. I never played 06, 7, 8, any of them, which I do plan on going back to at some point because I know how well they're rated. This straight is so long. Usually break in real life around this board, but we're going to keep it flat for a bit longer. And even at that, yeah, we broke so early. Like MotoGP 4 from Namcom, so much more better in terms of pretty much everything, really. So it was kind of weird that Monumental Games came along and went a real weird direction. Of course, graphics look better, probably animations that look better and stuff. Sounds, to be honest, I wouldn't say they're any better. The career mode was good. Now, I don't ever remember too many issues with the older GP games, the kind of early 2000s. Their career modes were pretty basic, but I didn't have any problems with them. Whereas this one, I vividly remember. Oh, hello. When, yeah, we're about to basically not even get to the end of lap 1 here because the timer's going to run out, which is pretty whack. This corner is just so badly profiled. Yeah, we're going to run out of time. we'll come back to the point I was making in a second, because
Timeout! Timeout! Timeout!
timeout, what the hell does that mean?
Timeout!
So basically, I've been ground to a stop because... What the...
Stay on the track.
Can't it fucking time me out, you bastards? I was at the DNF, I actually don't remember what happens. Yeah, that was it. So, for some reason, that was my race. Pretty weird way about it. I'm surprised that they ever got the license this game for it. I'm gonna go back into time trial clearly because the racing is poor. We've got 250s, but like I was saying in career mode, basically you start off with a bike that's so underpowered, and you have to do a load of upgrades to get a bike that's like, not that it's a race winner, it's literally just to be competitive. I remember in the career mode you get to do wildcards throughout the season in the class above, so if you're a 125 rider you get a 250 wildcard, you get to go up maybe every 5 to 6 races, and back in the day the calendar was only about 16 to 18 races long, so you might get 2 or 3 wildcards in a season to go up into the following class. But of course when you get to the 250 class you get to do a wildcard in a Motogp, which I thought was obviously it's not the most realistic, just get a random wildcard for a guy who's like P17 in the 250 champ, but back in the day it was so cool. Because, like, again, you need to go back and remember that a lot of the bikes were not available at the launch, in terms of it was locked and you had to unlock it by doing things in the game. And to be fair, Downton doesn't look too bad. Again, scaling is way off. Feels like the length of the guitar straight just to get to the foggies. Foggies are pretty okay. Again, look, the lighting very much of the time it really does date it. And again, when you tuck in, it all darkens. And Jesus, where is... It's quite funny how far away the corner is, but we're actually having a much better time on this 250. But again, just so much arcade, but kind of going back and forth to different points as different things happen. The career mode, you'd start off, if you got to the GP class, your bike would like max out 180 miles an hour and you'd be like so slow and straight. And it might take a year or like a season to get upgrades on the bike to actually improve the bike and improve. So it was a real dog of your career mode. I remember it as a youngster that you really had to put time into. It wasn't like the kind of milestone ones where like you'd be beating Marcus in the first race and that would be that. It's really hard to kind of modulate the leaning of the bike. It feels like there's some weird magnetic force that when you get to full lean it just wants to like pull itself down, and something that the newer games don't really have that weight to the bike, because the bike just wants to keep turning. For example, just kind of turn here and I'm just going to leave go of the stick, and you can see I'm going to end up in that wall if I keep going. But Downton's not too bad after all the other tracks I've played. Let's see, can we beat our PB here? But let me know in the comments if you played this game back in the day, what you thought of it, and how has it aged for someone maybe who hasn't played it in 10, 15 years. It does look a bit different to what I remember. Physics are definitely nowhere near as good. Obviously, like I said in the intro, heavily arcade based this game with all the gates and timing system and stuff. It was really a weird game. Kind of see the way to ride it there just to abuse track limits, and wouldn't be one I'd ever say went down in the memories of people that was a great Motogp game. So we're gonna pretty much end it up here with this lap. Let me know in the comments if there's any other game, whether it be GP, Superbikes, or anything else in the motorcycling universe you'd like me to see go back and try out, and pretty much if there's an emulator somewhere for it or a ROM for it somewhere, it pretty much is available to play. So thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed. This has been Motogp 09/10, and yeah, not the best ever game, but back today, it was a bit of fun. Thanks for watching, slán go fóill.